Flight 8 is finally behind us. What has SpaceX learned so far? Are we on a fast track to Flight 9? What hardware will be used for the next campaign? Also, we are mourning the loss of the Athena Lander mission, but Blue Ghost keeps amazing us. It's now shooting electrodes on the moon, and Crew 10 is getting closer. My name is Felix, welcome to What About It. Let's dive right in. Starship updates. SpaceX's Starship Flight 8 delivered a perfect Super Heavy booster catch, but the upper stage suffered another in-flight failure, almost mirroring Flight 7's outcome. Flight 8 confirmed that Mechazilla can reliably catch a returning booster, and SpaceX is now 3 for 3 in Mechazilla catch attempts. Booster 15, even with fewer than the normal 13 Raptor engines firing, was able to complete its controlled descent into the catch arms. Views of the descent were a bit harrowing, as only 13 of the 13 engines initially lit for the boost back, and then 12 of 13 relit for the landing and catch procedure. Thankfully, SpaceX's boosters have plenty of performance to spare for this portion of the flight. Even with some engines not starting, there is still plenty of power to act as a brake for the booster as it maneuvers towards the waiting catch arms. While some ground equipment at the launch site did appear to sustain some damage, the evaporators for example, most everything else appears to be unscathed. What was once thought to be perhaps one of Starship's most challenging feats has been made to look almost routine, and the team seems to have mastered it. With the booster performing perfectly, let's have a look at the second stage. Ship 34 initially functioned as expected, lighting all 6 of its engines post-separation. But 8 minutes in, 4 engines shut down prematurely, leading to loss of control and the vehicle break up before reaching its test objectives. You can see trouble brewing when one of the RVAC engines began to glow bright red and orange, which was reminiscent of Flight 7, where a vibration-induced propellant leak caused a fire and eventual destruction. Yeah. SpaceX made key fixes after Flight 7 to avoid engine fires and leaks, but it appears the issue is still far from resolved. Specifically, Ship 34 underwent the longest ever static fire test for a ship prototype at nearly a minute long and at differing throttle speeds to rule out a recurrence of the harmonic vibrations issue that destroyed Ship 33. They also added propellant line reinforcements to prevent leaks and a host of new venting and nitrogen purge systems to suppress onboard fires. But none of these features could ultimately save the unfortunate vehicle. While Flight 8 avoided a visible fireball, the ultimate engine failure remained unsolved, proving that more work was needed. Despite the upper stage failure, Flight 8 yielded critical diagnostic data. SpaceX will now cross-reference telemetry from both failed flights to pinpoint the root cause. Man. Meanwhile, they seem to be inching ever closer to mastering booster recovery. After this latest anomaly, hopes for a Flight 9 upper stage catch are very likely off the table. At least for now. Less than 23 hours after a successful catch in the arms of Mechazilla, Booster 15 was lifted off of the orbital launch mount. By Saturday night, it was returned to the Gigabay. Its fate is currently unknown, but given the spate of issues it encountered with pairing with the hot staging ring, it would seem SpaceX has more viable options for Flight 9 with either Booster 14.1 or Booster 16. Perhaps even Booster 17, likely the last Block 1 booster to be produced, which is currently being stacked in Megabay 1. Every Starship is an experiment, and failures are expected on the road to rapid reusability. SpaceX isn't slowing down. Flight 9 is already in the works, bringing new fixes and another step closer to a fully operational Starship. So what's next? When can we expect Flight 9? What booster will be chosen to pair with Ship 35? We did get an X-post from Elon after Ship 34's unfortunate early demise. A 4 to 6 week turnaround seems ambitious, given 2 consecutive Block 2 Starship runs. What do you think? 4 to 6 weeks, or how long will it take SpaceX to do Flight 9? Let me know in the comments. Help improve the channel and double check that you've hit the like and the subscribe button to stay up to date with our updates. It's free and it helps us bring you even better content. With launch site activity at a near standstill as we waited for Flight 8's next attempt, all eyes shifted to the production and testing side of Starbase, where things were still moving. There will be a lot of eyes on Ship 35 now after 2 consecutive early Starship runs. Per SpaceX's iterative design testing, Ship 35 should be superior to Ship 34 in nearly every way. Meanwhile, Ship 36 has received its LOX tank sections, bringing it another step closer to stacking. Only the aft dome remains, and given that Flight 8's failure may have involved aft section design issues, we may see additional inspections or modifications before it moves forward. If changes are needed, the rollout for stacking could be delayed while engineers work through adjustments. Ship 37's nose section now has Bose forward flap aero covers installed along with a significant amount of TPS tile. Ship 38 has also begun tile installation, keeping pace with the next round of starships in the pipeline. Booster 16 has now undergone 2 cryogenic proof tests, one on February 28th and another one on March 4th. Initially, it was expected to roll back to the production site during a midnight road delay on March 7th, but nothing moved during that window. New road closures, scheduled from midnight 4 AM last night and tonight, are listed as factory to Massey's. This could be B16's return to the factory for post-testing inspections. But it could also signal the rollout of Booster 14-1 or Ship 35 for testing instead. We'll show you the footage here if anything happens until the episode is released. Let's leave Texas for now and move over to the Cape in Florida, as Crew Dragon Endurance is in the final launch preparations as we speak for tomorrow's Crew 10 flight. Can you believe it is SpaceX's 10th crew rotation mission already? 4 astronauts are ready for their turn to work aboard the International Space Station. They are hailing from 3 countries. Pilot Nicole Ayers and Commander Anne McClain are both NASA astronauts. Mission specialist Kirill Peskov is a Russian cosmonaut, and the 4th and final crew member, mission specialist Takuya Onishi, is part of Japan's space agency JAXA. When the crew of 4 reaches the ISS, they will be welcomed by the 7 astronauts of Expedition 72. After a short handover period, 4 astronauts will be departing on the Crew 9 return mission. Crew 9 is made up of mission specialist Alexander Gorbunov from Roscosmos and Commander Nick Hague from NASA, as well as the now famous NASA astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore. Butch and Sonny came to the ISS on Boeing's ill-fated Starliner spacecraft, which ultimately had to return to Earth without its astronauts for safety reasons. Crew 10's astronauts have a packed work schedule featuring more than 200 scientific experiments and technology demonstrations. They have been training all mission-specific procedures for months and are eager to get to work in the coolest office humanity has ever built in low Earth orbit. During their time aboard, the final 3 Expedition 72 members will be replaced when the next Soyuz spacecraft docks with the ISS later this year. The supporting supply missions to the ISS will be performed by 3 systems: Northrop Grumman's Cygnus cargo spacecraft, SpaceX's Cargo Dragon, and the Progress spacecraft by Roscosmos. This shows how diversified ISS efforts are. Another noteworthy event will be the private Axiom 4 mission set to launch in spring. This mission will put 4 additional astronauts aboard the space station for 2 weeks. Cozy. More astronauts on the ISS and more members in the Y community. If you appreciate the content, become a channel member or a patron for extra content. Secure your access to up to 7 picture galleries per week, satellite, aerial and ground photos, and 3D animations. Chat with us and gain more insights on the topics you love. Check out redlineheli.com/Felix for a once-in-a-lifetime experience and $25 off flying in a helicopter above Starbase. The Redline helicopter team is waiting for you. They'll show you the same views our photographers get on their Starbase flights. Thank you so much for your support. Now let's jump even further out to the moon. Remember the invading fleet of landers we talked about in the last few episodes? One of them didn't make it down the way it was planned. Unfortunately, after a historic touchdown on the moon, Intuitive Machines' Athena Lander ended up on its side. Originally planned to operate for 10 Earth days, the lander lost contact just hours after landing, leaving NASA and Intuitive Machines scrambling to figure out what went wrong. Early data suggested the lander could not determine its location relative to the lunar surface. This is the same issue that nearly ended IM-1's Odysseus lander, but the craft could still carry out much of its scientific work. Athena landed near the lunar South Pole as part of the IM-2 mission, carrying key payloads such as NASA's Prime 1 suite of tools for drilling into the lunar ice, the Micronova hopping drone, and even the moon's first 4G LTE network provided by Nokia. These were critical experiments poised to deliver significant data about the moon and lay the groundwork for establishing lunar infrastructure for future outposts. That's now missing. Preliminary reports indicate that problems with the lander's laser rangefinders during descent resulted in navigation errors, causing Athena to miss its target by about 250 meters and come to rest in a crater on its side. That way. Or that way, I don't know. This awkward position comprised the orientation of its solar panels, causing power failures and preventing the craft from continuing to charge its batteries. Despite the stumble after the landing, NASA verified that Athena's onboard Prime 1 suite of tools, including the Trident drill, were able to test out the hardware's full range of motion, even in a non-optimal position. Also, the onboard M-Solo spectrometer could detect nearby gases, likely due to the lander's own emissions though. The mission team will continue to analyze data from Athena's brief life, hoping to pinpoint exactly what went wrong. Meanwhile, NASA and Intuitive Machines are already planning their next shot at the moon, the IM-3 mission, which is scheduled for next year. Now let's take a look at a different kind of security for a moment. Today we all spend half of our waking hours online. Internet safety is seriously relevant for each and every one of us, and a lot of people still do not recognize their digital vulnerability until it is too late. Here's my easy solution. Surfshark, the sponsor of this video, is my go-to VPN to keep your data private and your browsing secure. But what is this VPN? It's pretty simple. A VPN creates your very own private network. It's keeping out those prying eyes and hackers, protecting you from data breaches. Your personal privacy matters, and Surfshark provides exactly that. Surfshark is incredibly easy to use, and there is even more protection for you. Their Surfshark One cybersecurity package features a built-in antivirus to protect you from dangers like data worms and Trojan horses. And don't worry if you're not familiar with all these terms, Surfshark's got your back. It handles everything for you, so you don't need to spend your time to become an expert. Surfshark has got you covered everywhere you go, be it on the go using a public internet connection or when you're surfing at home. With proxy emails, instant alerts, and a fresh start if your data was compromised. Your single license will protect your whole family. You can use it on as many devices as you like. You can have Surfshark take care of your parents or that teenager in your home that seems to be attached to their phone. Surfshark protects those you love. Set a new standard for your family's security, because safety isn't just important in spaceflight. Go to surfshark.com/Felix for 4 extra months of Surfshark. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Surfshark, your data, your rules. On we go with another lunar lander that had a lot more success. Firefly's Blue Ghost 1 recently completed a historic descent and spectacular landing on the moon's surface, and now the fun part of the mission is about to get started. NASA has prepared a nice alphabet soup for us. Let's look at the most important ones. We have the Lister drill, a drill. The Lister drill measures heat flow beneath the moon's surface, helping scientists understand how the lunar interior has evolved over time. Lunar PlanetVac will test how well a vacuum-based method can collect lunar soil, a potential tool for future in-situ resource utilization. We have Nuggler. The L stands for laser. Pew pew. The next generation lunar retroreflector is a precision laser reflector that will allow for more accurate measurements of the Earth-Moon distance, improving lunar science and navigation. RAC is trying to keep things clean. Regolith Adherence Characterization, or RAC, will study how lunar dust sticks to different surfaces, crucial for developing dust-resistant materials for future lunar missions. We have a RAD PC. The radiation-tolerant computer will test new computing hardware designed to survive the moon's harsh radiation environment, making future lunar computers more reliable. We have the EDS, not to be confused with EDM. Electrodynamic Dust Shield, or EDS, will demonstrate a new technology to repel lunar dust, which is a major challenge for spacecraft and equipment on the moon's surface. There's Lexi. It's a heliospheric X-ray designed to capture images of Earth's magnetosphere, providing new insights into space weather and its interactions with the moon. The magnetotelluric sounder sounds really like something. LMS will probe the moon's interior structure by measuring how electromagnetic waves travel through different layers of lunar rock. Then there's Luger, Google Maps for the moon. The Lunar GNSS receiver experiment will test navigation using Earth's GPS signals on the moon. Finally, the stereo camera for lunar plume surface studies, or SCALPS. can't even pronounce that one, will capture high-speed images of how the lander's engine interacts with the lunar surface, providing data for future lunar landing designs, such as the Starship HLS. Shout out to those who made these acronyms. All those experiments will bring invaluable insights into strategic information needed for future crewed missions to the moon. It's hard to make a small craft touch down successfully on the lunar surface. This makes it even more special to see that some of them make it intact. Now let's jump to ESA for even more positive spaceflight news. After multiple delays, including a last-minute scrub on March 3rd due to ground support equipment issues, Europe's Ariane 6 rocket finally lifted off from Kourou, French Guiana. This marks a major milestone for the European space program, proving the vehicle's capability after years of development. This second launch deployed a classified CSO-3 French military satellite, a key component in France's evolving defense infrastructure. Arianespace desperately tries to compensate for lost time with its previous rockets and numerous delays and pushbacks. They are not in a very good position right now. Europe is trying to answer the growing need for heavy lift capacity vehicles with Ariane 6 in the post-Ariane 5 era. Last year, its first flight saw an upper stage anomaly, leading to modifications for upcoming launches. The vehicle is designed to be a cost-effective alternative to Falcon 9, but with repeated delays, Europe's access to independent launch capability remains limited. As such, European payloads are increasingly turning to SpaceX, which is intensifying the pressure on Arianespace to bring Ariane 6 to the market in a reliable way. Speaking of other recently delayed missions, let's head over to NASA. Originally scheduled for February 27th, the dual mission launch aboard a Falcon 9 from Vandenberg Space Force Base was repeatedly postponed due to additional system checks on the rocket. SphereX, or the spectrophotometer for the history of the universe epoch of re-ionization and ISIS Explorer, dude, is a cosmic cartographer designed to survey the entire sky in infrared, hunting for clues about the origins of the universe and mapping water ice across the Milky Way. Meanwhile, Punch, or the polarimeter to unify the corona and heliosphere, consists of 4 suitcase-sized satellites observing the sun's outer atmosphere, tracking solar wind and coronal mass ejections to improve space weather forecasts. While separate, these missions are both part of NASA's growing fleet of small, cost-efficient space telescopes designed to fill key knowledge gaps without requiring multi-billion-dollar flagship missions. Looking at you, JWST. Once launched, both will begin multi-year observation campaigns. Punch will provide near real-time solar wind monitoring, and SphereX will generate the first all-sky infrared map at this level of precision. Let's hope that the vehicle checks, and soon SphereX and Punch are 2 very special spaceflight gold nuggets. Next up, we have a critical slingshot maneuver. NASA's Europa Clipper, one of the most exciting spaceflight missions currently out there, just hit a major milestone on its long journey to Jupiter. On March 1st, the spacecraft used Mars for a gravity assist, skimming 884 kilometers above the planet's surface. This maneuver bent its trajectory, slowing it relative to the Sun and setting it up for a 2026 Earth flyby, providing the final push needed to reach Jupiter's moon Europa in 2030. Wait, you thought the path to Jupiter was a straight line? This expedition is one of the most ambitious deep space explorations in NASA's history. Once at Europa, the spacecraft will perform dozens of close flybys, scanning the moon's icy surface and searching for signs of liquid water beneath. Scientists believe Europa's subsurface ocean may harbor conditions suitable for life, making it a top target for astrobiology. This mission might have the most potential for intriguing findings of any endeavor ever launched. Many consider searching subsurface oceans for life to be the best chance of finding not just microbial life, but life that may actually exist today. As a bonus, Clipper's team activated some of its instruments during the Mars flyby, including its ice-penetrating radar and thermal imager, testing their ability to peer beneath planetary surfaces. Everything seems to run through Mars. On we go with deep space news. The James Webb Space Telescope has turned its gaze to an unusual starless world floating through space. The target? SIMP-0136, a free-floating planetary mass object about 13 times the size of Jupiter. That's big. Unlike traditional planets, this one isn't orbiting a star, it's utterly adrift in the cosmos. A dark super Jupiter just you know, roaming through space. Creepy. Webb's infrared spectrograph detected subtle changes in cloud layers, temperature, and atmospheric chemistry, revealing a much more dynamic world than previously thought. The findings suggest that brightness shifts aren't just caused by patchy clouds, but by a complex mix of carbon chemistry and deep atmosphere interactions. SIMP is acting as a stand-in for gas giants and brown dwarfs, offering a rare 3D look into their weather systems. This could help astronomers better understand exoplanet atmospheres, refining techniques that will one day be used to study potentially habitable worlds. Here's a question for you. Do you know what a brown dwarf is? Let me know in the comments. We might do a video on this if there are enough replies. Astroforge's Odin mission provided critical insights that will shape future asteroid mining efforts. Odin's primary goals were to refine asteroid-like materials in microgravity and validate Astroforge's models for identifying metal-rich asteroids. Ka-ching! The spacecraft, built in under 10 months for $3.5 million, aimed to prove that deep space missions could be done at a fraction of traditional costs. However, ground station failures, misconfigurations, and unexpected interference made it difficult to establish a reliable link with Odin. While signals were briefly detected, they soon faded, and Odin is now 270,000 miles from Earth, drifting beyond the moon with minimal chance of recovery. Astroforge's next mission, Vestri, will launch on IM-3 in 2025 and attempt to land on an actual metallic asteroid to measure its platinum content. With a more powerful propulsion system, improved avionics, and stronger communication architecture, Vestri will attempt to build on the hard lessons learned from Odin. On we go to the Kiwis. No, why didn't go into nature documentaries? I'm talking rocket Kiwis. Rocket Lab is preparing to launch another Electron rocket for a mission titled The Lightning God Reigns. This mission aims to deploy the QPS SAR-9 satellite. Well, here we go again. Also known as Susanoo-1, into low Earth orbit. It's developed by the Japanese company iQPS and includes a synthetic aperture radar imaging satellite. This is part of a growing constellation designed to deliver frequent high-resolution Earth imagery. iQPS plans to have 24 such satellites in orbit by 2027. The Lightning God Reigns marks the first of multiple dedicated launches Rocket Lab has secured with iQPS. It is now scheduled for March 15th after a recent delay involving spacecraft readiness checks requested by the customer. The rocket will lift off from Launch Complex 1 on the Mahia Peninsula in New Zealand, which is arguably the most beautiful launch site in the world. Go Rocket Kiwis! That's it for today. Remember to smash the like button, subscribe for more. This is what fuels the algorithm, and this is how you can help us for free. Check out our epic shirts in your favorite Space Nerd store. A new Raptor design and our brand new Starship Block 2 design are both up. Link is in the description and in the card you should see now. Also, check out our print store at shop.whataboutit.space to buy a picture for your favorite wall. A significant amount of every purchase goes directly to our photographers. And if you want to learn more about the fascinating story of SpaceX's Raptor 3 engine, watch this video next to continue your journey. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next episode. Solved. While Flight 8 for Gorbunov. Flight 8 was solved. While Flight Gorbunov